Hey traders, welcome to Master the Market, where we help you become a market master. I know it's been a while, but today I'm coming back with another profit and loss recap video. Today I was able to lock in $1,210 in profits with one single trade in the stock ZAPP. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down this trade so that hopefully you can learn from my mistakes in the things that I do well in order to improve your own trading. Now, before we get started, I want you to post down in the comments what your profit and loss was today if you traded. Let's use the comment section to share what we did well and some of our mistakes, so that way we can all learn from each other and all improve our trading. Without further ado, let's get into ZAPP. This was an opening range breakout trade. For those of you that have been following this channel for a while, and for those of you that are in the Market Master group, you know that the opening range breakout strategy is one of the main strategies that I trade, specifically in the morning session. And the basis of this strategy is to wait for the first few minutes of price action to form and then look for a breakout to new highs, risking, of course, off of those opening lows. So let's take a look at the 5-minute chart here for today. This is the time frame that I prefer to use for the most part when it comes to the opening range breakout. We have a high of this first 5-minute candle of $2.10, and we have a low of $1.74. So I'm actually just going to draw these here on the chart, giving us our opening range. This means that once the stock begins to push above that opening range high, that's going to be our breakout level, and we would be risking underneath that opening range low. So like we do every single morning in the Market Master group, today we posted the opening range breakout levels for the top stocks that have the best chances of a gap and go. One of those stocks today was ZAPP with a $2.10 breakout level, as we've already mentioned. And we can see that about 10 minutes or so later, we get an opening range breakout. This was posted by our opening range breakout bot as it started to move above that $2.10 level. Now, this happened very quickly, so ideally you would be buying in the low 210s, and that would give you the best chances of profit, even if there ends up being a false breakout, which of course is going to happen from time to time. But ZAPP again happened so quickly that I wasn't able to get in right away. I took a starter position in the 230s. The reason that I took a starter position is because I knew I was going to be risking all the way down here to about 170. So I didn't want to be in a full-size position with such a wide risk. And I decided to add some more shares into that trade after we got this very small pullback here and it began pushing up to new highs. I added some more right around 250. And as we can see, the momentum really started to pick up then. I sold a portion of my shares into this big spike here as it was going parabolic right before we get a volatility halt. As we can see from our volatility halt scanner here, ZAPP was halted at 9:51 this morning at a price of $2.91. 5 minutes later, it opens at the same price. However, from that price, we end up getting a big push up then to a high of $3.85. I locked in a portion of my profits then in the 320s, and the rest of my shares after we get this lower high that forms here and it starts to pull back. If we take a quick look down here at the daily chart, the reason that I was locking in those profits into the 320s is because we can see there is some daily chart resistance from the high of the recent spike at about $3 per share, 307 to be exact. So I knew that as the stock resumed trading from that volatility halt, there was a good chance that that $3 area was going to end up being resistance, and there was a good chance that we were going to see a false breakout above that area before it started to sell off to the downside. So I wanted to lock in a portion of my profits up into the low threes just to make sure that even if it was a false breakout, I was still going to have a really solid exit on some of the shares that I was holding in that trade. The rest of my shares I was holding for a bigger squeeze, but after we got this lower high that formed, that was a bearish signal to me. So once it started to then break back down, I was out of the rest of my shares, and again was able to lock in over $1,200 in profits from this one single trade. Now, another opening range breakout that I want to go over very quickly that happened today that I did not trade but was a really solid opportunity was with the stock SMX. We see that SMX had an opening range breakout level of about 17 cents. A few minutes later, it starts to push above that breakout level. And here's why it's so important to follow this strategy and trade this strategy the way that it's meant to be traded. We can see that after we get that breakout above the opening range, it starts to pull right back down. Using that opening range low of about 15 cents here as your risk level, is going to be the difference between a profitable trade and a losing trade. If you stop out of this trade too early, you're going to take an unnecessary loss on the trade because it never breaks down underneath that morning low, and that is the way this strategy is meant to be traded. So by holding onto those shares even during this pullback and allowing the trade to work out, knowing that you're going to cut losses if it does break down underneath that morning low, you're going to then see this trade turn back into a winning trade as it pushes up into the VWAP. It is of course easier said than done because at the time this was looking like it was simply a false breakout, and in that situation it's very easy to sell your shares and get out of this trade a little bit too early and take an unnecessary loss, but this strategy is meant to be traded using this opening low as your risk level for the trade. And I want to give a quick shout out to one of our traders here in the Market Master group, Mick Blyat. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but he bought into this opening range breakout using that 5-minute low for the risk level on this trade. That is exactly the right way to trade this. And although it tested his patience, it did end up turning back around, and he was able to lock in his profits then into the VWAP area, which was about 10% above that opening range breakout level. So that was a really solid trade and a great sign of patience using this strategy and executing this strategy the way that it's meant to be. Hopefully you guys watching this video found some value in it, and if you did, please make sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you want to join us in our Market Master group and get access to our day trade and swing trade alerts, our detailed trade plans, our live custom scanner streams, and so on and so forth, all of that can be found using the link down below in the description. Your first week is going to be 100% free. I'll see you guys in the chat. Thanks for watching and good luck with your trading.